In other news, Israeli politicians have approved the formation of a unity government between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his political rival Benny Gantz. It's ending more than a year of political deadlock. It also follows last night's ruling by the High Court of Justice against petitions to bar a politician with criminal charges from forming a government. Parliament, as a result, backing the coalition deal by 71 votes to 37, and the two men are expected to be sworn into a power-sharing government next week. Let's get more from Irris Makler in Jerusalem. Irris, what happens now?
At long last, in 1 week's time, in fact in 6 days' time now, after the High Court hurdles have been cleared, there are no objections to this controversial government, and it will be formed and sworn in on May the 13th, next Wednesday. That means that after some 15 months, the last election was in April, the government was kind of frozen before then, not much is done prior to an election. It's only been a caretaker government. After 15 months, Israel will have a proper government that can vote, make decisions, parliament meets, sits, and in crisis times, I think that's important.
Now, this happened against the backdrop of a pandemic. How much of that was a factor in breaking this political deadlock?
I think it was a huge factor. You could almost call this the corona government. It was the reason that Benny Gantz gave for leaving the opposition. I'll remind you that this was the opposition to Benjamin Netanyahu ever forming another government. He left that and said, no, this is the time for unity. The numbers were split pretty evenly. Neither side could have formed a government by themselves. So I think we would have seen fourth elections and perhaps the same results play out. But against the backdrop of no government, extra costs, people now very poor in some parts of the country. So all of that forced the government, forced the politicians to sit together and brought Israel to having a government finally after 15 months.
Irris Makler in Jerusalem, thank you. Staying in the region and